Examon X has just debuted in the game. Its skills allow it to intimidate and pursue enemies, and when it takes fatal damage, it can banish itself to avoid death. Evolution Stage Mega. Type Data. Element Wind. Normal skill Ultimate Gunfire. Attacks a single target, dealing damage while replenishing Thunder Swords for itself. Ultimate skill Pendragon Sparkle. Deals multiple instances of true damage to a single enemy. Followed by one high damage hit, applying an intimidation mark with a fixed probability. This skill ignores the target's buff states. If it deals fatal damage, it has a certain probability to deplete all of the target's AP. This effect ignores the target's effect resistance. Signature skill Thunder Sword Burai Ragaha. At the start of each major round, applies multiple layers of Windblade marks to all enemies with a fixed probability and grants itself Thunder Swords. When an enemy gains an extra turn, Thunder Swords are consumed to pursue the target, dealing damage, applying intimidation marks with a fixed probability, and adding Windblade marks with another fixed probability. At the end of each major round, Examon X attacks random enemy targets based on the number of remaining Thunder Swords, dealing damage with each attack. During these attacks, enemies with Windblade marks cannot activate the passive effects of their signature skills or passive skills. Passive skill, Dragon Plasma, provides Examon X with significant increases in damage dealt and damage reduction. It also grants all-around attribute boosts based on its base attack stat. Examon X gains critical hit rate boosts based on its speed and increases its speed when any target on the battlefield gains an extra turn. Attacks on targets with Windblade marks deal higher damage. While Examon X is alive, Windblade marks applied by allies cannot be removed by chain attacks. Additionally, it reduces the recovery effects and shield gains of targets with Windblade marks. Examon X will not be defeated by damage other than instant death effects. When it takes fatal damage, it resets its state, removes all its negative statuses, and banishes itself for several turns. When it returns to the field or starts a battle, it gains final damage reduction and increased effect resistance. Upon returning, it applies intimidation marks to all enemies. When Thunder Swords reach a certain number, the untargetable effect on all enemies becomes invalid. Team composition, PV lineup, recommended card, balance. Alphamon Oryukin provides strong damage output in dungeons. Plesiommon X offers continuous AP recovery. Negemon greatly enhances team durability. Omegamon SP serves as an all-rounder support, providing various buffs, aura effects, and overclock energy recovery. PvP lineup, recommended card, burst. Negemon provides significant durability. Shoutmon Cross 7 offers diverse aura effects to boost teammates. Examon X, especially with enough Thunder Swords, can deal significant damage to untargetable enemies with Omegamon SP support. Jesmon GX ensures a first move to taunt enemies and protect other targets from being focused. Plugin and talent recommendations. For PvE, focus on maximizing its damage potential. The Assault. Plugin increases damage against buff targets. For PvP, prioritize boosting its speed and damage potential. The Assault plugin provides greater damage against buffed enemies. In the Examon X-Antibody story, Hiroyuki Hyuga announced to the gathered group, "The reason we asked everyone to come here is that the incubation device is finally ready. Now, we can organize the order for hatching batches of digital eggs." Another researcher added, "Don't underestimate the importance of this psychological comfort. No matter how many times we tried before, the eggs remain dormant. But after introducing a simulated environment, their activity levels improved significantly. The materials used to replicate the digital world's environment are crucial and can only be collected from a few specific islands." As things stood, there were still 8 Royal Knights left, along with 4 members of the Tianji faction who had yet to make an appearance. Yet, more than 20 Digimon eggs had been gathered, and they didn't know which egg corresponded to which Digimon. The claim that the incubator was ready was based on the successful hatching experiments. For example, the Candlemon from the previous event, where it accompanied Hackmon to the hot spring for training, had been hatched in the first experiment. Hiroyuki explained further, "The digital eggs were collected by Omegamon on the battlefield. The number of eggs exceeds the original number of members, so it's entirely possible there are new soldiers among them, or even demon lords. We've scanned all the eggs and found one with an enormous amount of data. We suspect it could be Examon, but we can't rule out the possibility of it being another creature with similar data levels. Leopardmon returned from running an errand for Alphamon and joined the group to help select which egg to hatch next. They identified a red egg, speculating it might also belong to Lord Knightmon or Kentarosmon, as many Royal Knights were red in coloration. As they monitored the egg's development, it hatched into a Gilmon, which then evolved into Black Growlmon. However, its memories did not return. Based on prior examples, Hackmon had only recovered fragments of its memory after evolving into Jessmon. Leopardmon had been artificially designed by the Allied forces, and Alphamon had regained part of its memories during combat. As they worked, they faced simultaneous challenges, including issues involving Loosemon and the cyberspace exodus. During a discussion, the player remarked, "We can't assume that it will evolve into a villain and lock it up. That would go against the purpose of creating the virtual space and could even escalate conflicts." But they soon discovered a deeper problem. Their internal firewall had been breached, disconnecting them for a full minute. It appeared there was an undetected loophole in their system. In response, all the digital eggs were moved to other locations for safekeeping. Meanwhile, Loosemon attempted to recruit Black Growlmon to join the United Forces, declaring his vision for Digimon freedom. "I'm leaving the virtual space. If you still believe in peaceful games, stay here. But I'm guessing the DTF has already issued a wanted order. They'll hunt you down and lock you up in that laboratory. Freedom is built on strength. Ever since we lost the war, Digimon and humans have been unequal. Without the peace agreement, our situation will only worsen." Black Growlmon, though unwilling to be imprisoned, didn't agree with Loosemon's ideology either. It wanted to determine who was right or wrong on its own and see the truth for itself. At the DTF, the firewall breaches in areas B and F allowed the United Forces advance team to infiltrate the warning zones. Meanwhile, Digimon caused chaos at the Ministry of Transportation, targeting the transmission center. As a result, all teleportation functions between the human and digital worlds were suspended. The situation grew more dire when the United Forces broke through 2 more firewalls, prompting suspicions that they had infiltrated Arpa Island. Martial law was quickly declared. Amidst the chaos, Black Growlmon experienced a flash of memory as Examon, recalling a conversation with Dinesmon during their battle against Leviamon X. At the time, Examon couldn't engage Leviamon on the beach because the land wouldn't withstand the power of their fight. It is also reminded that among the Royal Knights, Examon and Omegamon are unique in requiring multiple Digimon to evolve into their forms. Jessmon urged, "We need Examon's help. If Leviamon breaks the shield, Arpa Island will be destroyed. Only Examon can save weaker Digimon and humans from being torn apart." Examon responded by wrapping half of the island with its massive wings, allowing time to teleport the rest of the people to safety. Hiroyuki reported, "The scanner shows Examon's data is severely damaged. The X-Antibody must be delivered to it immediately." They gambled everything on the unstable X-Antibody. Examon X went into action, unleashing its full power to defeat Leviamon X. An internal conversation occurred between Slayerdramon and Breakdramon, the 2 Digimon that merged to form Examon. Slayerdramon reminding Breakdramon that they are united as one. Despite their victory, the unstable X-Antibody eventually lost its effectiveness, leading to Examon's disintegration. At DTF headquarters, which had transformed into a massive airship and relocated to a new position, as its initial design was that of an airship, the team recovered the remains of 2 disintegrated Gilmon. Hiroyuki concluded, "I'm going to check on Gilmon's condition. While the X-Antibody is effective, we don't know if it has any side effects. From here on, the war will enter a new stage." In the Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode story, the DTF members return to the music-themed game, where all conflicts are resolved through singing. Upon arrival, they notice the game has been reset since their last visit. However, this time, Bagramon has taken a drastic step, kidnapping Matsuda in an attempt to escape the confines of the game world. Once again, Bagramon seeks to alter the game's rules and wrest control of it for its own purposes. Previously, when Bagramon was defeated, It didn't revert to a Digi-Egg, but instead vanished. This likely occurred because the game space isn't part of the digital world. However, it is evident that the game's creator must have been familiar with the digital world and its Digimon. Otherwise, the game's intricate restoration of that environment wouldn't have been so accurate. It becomes clear that the method to break through the world's boundaries is real, but Bagramon cannot achieve it on its own. That's why it kidnapped Matsuda, intending to use their knowledge or method to leave the game world. After the players abruptly left during their last visit, there were reports of other humans disappearing from Coconut Island Village. Upon investigation, it was discovered that Matsuda was one of those missing individuals. It is also confirmed that Bagramon is not truly dead. One of its subordinates revealed that it had discovered a way to breach the boundaries of this world and reach others. However, because the data in the game world is incomplete, Bagramon's body still exists after its defeat, though it is temporarily immobilized. With Queen Alice's assistance, Shoutmon evolves into superior mode. Drawing strength from the gratitude, blessings, and data of all Digimon, superior mode successfully quells the disaster in the virtual space, defeating Darkness Bagramon for good.